everybody, this is Isaac here, and welcome to another Isaac Reviews. If you were growing up in the 80s, you would certainly know of a certain filmmaker called Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner is certainly one of those directors in the 80s who you may know for doing a few comedies and occasional drama films. From the Billy Crystal classic When Harry Met Sally, to the adaptation of Stephen King's novel Stand By Me, or even one of the funniest films of all time, the mockumentary This Is Spinal Tap. But there was one movie that Rob Reiner did in 87, which is the film that we're talking about today. So what are we waiting for? It's best if we grab some popcorn and our swashbuckling swords as we take a look at today's movie, with the ultimate 80s classic, The Princess Bride. When a young Fred Savage isn't feeling all 100%, his grandfather, played by Peter Falk, helps him cheers him up by reading an old storybook that he read to his father many years ago. He tells the story of a young girl named Buttercup, played by Robin Wright, who falls in love with a young farm boy called Wesley, played by Cary Elwes. However, Wesley is said to be killed by the dread pirate Roberts, and Buttercup vows that she will never fall in love again. 5 years later, Buttercup is forced to marry the dreaded Prince Humperdinck, played by Sam Sarandon. Suddenly, Buttercup gets captured by 3 maniacal pirates, with the lead pirate, Vizzini, played by none other than Rex himself, Wallace Shawn, and his 2 associates. The first being the badass sword fighter Inigo Montoya, played by Mandy Patinkin, and the mighty Fenzik, played by French wrestler Andre the Giant. The 3 men capture Buttercup and take her to the cliffs of insanity. However, a mysterious man in black, who is the dread pirate Robertson, who I swear has the same dress sense of Zorro, catches up to the 3 criminals, and even does a really awesome sword fight with the man himself, Inigo Montoya. After fighting the 2 other pirates, he then rescues Buttercup, and is revealed as none other than Wesley, who actually survived, and took on the name of the dread pirate Roberts. However, Buttercup gets captured by Prince Humperdinck and Count Rugen, played by Christopher Guest. Now it's up to Wesley, with his new allies, to stop Prince Humperdinck from marrying his one true love. I do know of this movie's existence, mostly from seeing clips of it and hearing many of the famous quotes, but didn't get to watch it until much recently. And surprisingly, it's actually really good, what a lot of people told me. The film was enjoyable from start to finish, and it feels timeless. The movie, when it was released in 1987, was decent at best. The critics gave it really good reviews, but its box office was mostly decent. That wasn't until the film was released on VHS and has received a popular status now. The story being simple, I really enjoyed it nevertheless. I understood what was going on. In fact, the world building in this is really good. Even if it's a little simple, it is nevertheless fun. Most of the movie was filmed in England and Ireland, and seriously, the locations are beautiful. In fact, the cinematography is actually fantastic. But what about the characters, you asked? Well, there is a lot to cover, and are really iconic in their own special way. The first characters that we properly see in the story are the grandson and the grandfather, played by Fred Savage and Peter Falk respectively. I really like Peter Falk's performance in this film. Hearing his narration sometimes in the story is really beautiful, and you really want to listen to him and what's going to happen next. In fact, the grandson, played by a young Fred Savage, also does a pretty decent job. In fact, with this role being so popular, it was actually parodied in the PG-13 cut of Deadpool 2. But you're obviously here for the main characters of the movie. In fact, the first one that we'll get to is of course Buttercup, played by the beautiful Robin Wright in one of her earliest film roles. This is the role that truly made her a star, and she does a fantastic job with the role. In fact, I was almost convinced that she actually had a British accent, and I do have to agree, she actually looks really beautiful in this film. But what about her lover, the one and only Wesley? I will say Cary Elwes does a really good job with his role. And not only does he remind me a little bit of Zorro, but actually old swashbuckling heroes from the early 30s. But what about the supporting cast? Well, there are quite a few. Vizzini, played by Wallace Shawn, actually is a lot of fun. In fact, he's actually also well known for his famous catchphrase.
Inconceivable! You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Fenzik the Giant is also a really fun character, played by famous French wrestler Andre the Giant. In fact, he was actually one of the nicest guys on set. And it's a massive bummer that Andre sadly passed away in 1993, because there was so much potential. In fact, He could have been in so many more movies. And we can't forget about Magic Mike, played by Billy Crystal. And I can say he is just hilarious. Though he is helpful, he is kind of scared of actually trying to help, even if his wife forces him to do it whenever she says the word Humperdinck.
I'm not listening.
Speaking of Humperdinck, why don't we talk about our main villain of the film, Prince Humperdinck, played by Sam Sarandon. This guy is certainly menacing in his own right, and I will say this character isn't really all that evil. He seems decent during the first half, but once he realizes that Buttercup actually falls in love with Wesley, he literally goes complete insane by actually trying to murder him. Dude, that is dark. The other villain, Count Rugen, aka the Six-Fingered Man, is also really good. And the actor Christopher Guest does a really good job. In fact, this isn't even the first time that Christopher Guest got to work with Rob Reiner, as he already worked with him before in the mockumentary comedy This Is Spinal Tap as Nigel. Don't worry, Spinal Tap, you'll get a review next year. But by far, my favourite character of the entire film goes to the man himself, Amigo Montoya. Whenever I see him on screen, I'm literally just cheering my heart out. And Mandy Patinkin does a really awesome job. Even with his sword fighting skills, he's still fantastic on screen. And his character has a very interesting backstory, as he's searching for the man who killed his father, being the Six-Fingered Man. Heck, even his catchphrase is very iconic, even to people who haven't even seen the movie.
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
In fact, this famous quote would be used in other movies and TV shows.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
My name is Puss in Boots. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Hello, my name is Amigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Stop saying that!
Right, fine, I'll get on with the rest of the review. Anyway, hell, even Peter Cook does a really good job as the priest in the wedding sequence. Though I don't know much about his work except for him working back with Dudley Moore back in the early 60s, he is certainly hilarious with many of his lines. Overall, The Princess Bride is a fantastic film, with very memorable characters, really great sense of humour, and some of the most iconic quotes in cinema history. I would recommend this film for everyone, either a comedy fan, a fantasy lover, or hell, a moviegoer in general. So, to be very even for this really good movie, for both the audience score and my personal score, this film gets a very worthy 10 out of 10. Heck, I might even consider this to be one of my favourite movies of all time. And so that's my review of The Princess Bride, a really enjoyable movie that is certainly worth checking. So, I can say that this is the end for my videos and reviews for 2020, but I'll be back early in 2021 in January. So, what will I cover next? Well, let me quickly just get changed. There we go, much better. So, for our next video, well, I'll be taking a look at a little series that I actually really love enjoying, which is of course, The Goodies. So, join me for my top 10 favourite Goodies episodes next year. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, check out my other social media platforms, and I'll see you guys then. This is Isaac, signing off.